The American detailing and car care YouTuber Pan the Organizer came out with his own product line, which promises to be very, very good. Because I quote, it's the best of the best in the world, it's industry disruptive, and it's the best in the market, period. So it has to be really, really good, right? Let's see. Now, before we start with the video, I have to give you a little bit of context. My name is Andreas and I am part of the team behind the YouTube channel DetailingSchool and also DetailingSchool English, which is the largest German-speaking car care-related YouTube channel on which we try to present at least one new video per day. And if you have been following me on social media, especially also in English-speaking Facebook groups, you will know that I have been rather critical in regards to Pan in the past. I have nothing against Pan personally, I don't hate the man, but I sometimes criticize the way he tests and the way he presents certain things. In that respect, I'm pretty sure that everything I will say, especially if it's potentially negative or critical, will be labeled as hate or trolling, because I will quote Pan, he is so sure that his own products are good. If anyone talks trash about them, he knows it's just hating and trolling. That's a direct quote from Pan in the video in which he presented his own brands and the new products. And I also have to say there are many true haters out there, people who just hate Pan as a person or whatever he does. And in that respect, these people will wait for me to come out with a video in which I just bash this product, which I will not do. That's why I will try to make this video here as objective as humanly possible, and I will try to do that by just looking at what this product claims and tell you whether those product claims are actually true or false. And I would propose we start with the obvious by just looking at the product itself. Very briefly talk about design, because design is subjective. However, I personally think this is a rather clean, it's a rather smart, and it's a rather good design because it's very simple and because it matches the brand name which Pan chose for the whole thing, which is Clean by Pan. What I also think is a very cool idea is that the colors that you see half in this circle and on the bottom and on the top here is the exact same color that the product itself has, and this is consistent with all the products in his line. I think that's a positive aspect. What I also like is that on the back of the bottle you have a QR code, and if you scan that you go to the website, which is cleanbypan.com, and on that website you find additional information about the product. You also find videos, you find additional tips, and you can download and look at the SDS, the safety data sheet, which is very good, which is very positive, because even in today's day and age, not many brands make that available. What I also think is a very nice touch is that on top, keep it tight, keep it clean, because that's the phrase which Pan uses at the end of every of his videos. However, there's one aspect which I don't quite like, which is on the back there, and we will talk about that now. And this may sound like a completely minute thing, however, I think it's not. Because the nice thing is that the safety data sheet is made available with this QR code. So I had a look at the safety data sheet, and what I found on page 2 is there are 2 of those safety symbols, GHS symbols they're called, in the safety data sheet. However, I do not find those symbols anywhere on the bottle. Now, I am unsure about the legal situation, especially in the US and Canada and in other parts of the world. In Europe, I personally think that this product with this label should not and could not be sold. I think it's actually illegal to be sold without these symbols on the bottle when they are in the safety data sheet. And even if we put the legal situation completely aside, and that's a little bit subjective now, my personal opinion is that if you have those safety symbols in the data sheet, then you should absolutely put them also on the bottle, at the very least, in order to protect children. Now, to be fair, I have seen other brands doing the same thing, not putting the necessary safety warning symbols on those bottles. However, the vast majority of car care makers do it, as you can see with these very few examples here. And there's another thing. I mean, I have a huge amount of respect for Pan for trying to make this a global brand, because I know what this means. And in that respect, we also have to say that if you want to sell products globally, you have to fulfill all the legal requirements, or you should at least try. Because what you see, for example, with products from Zonex or Labo Cosmetica is that they write a shit ton of text on their labels in many different languages. And believe me, those manufacturers know the value of a clean and simple label. They would love to do the same thing, but they know they can't because it's legally not possible. And that's why those car care brands have whole teams of several people doing nothing else the whole day than checking that their products meet all the legal requirements. And that's the reason why, for example, Dodo Juice does peel-off labels where they have all the necessary instructions and warnings in several different languages, which is also what Kochchemy does. And that's another thing. We only have the English label on this bottle. We don't have a German one because I ordered it from the House of Rags in Europe, in the Netherlands. And I know for a fact that in Germany and Switzerland, you are not allowed to sell those products without the correct language on those labels. And that's also something I am rather critical about. Next product claim, it's supposed to be PFAS free, so there are no forever chemicals in it. There's simply no way I can check that. However, what I can tell you is that I have never ever heard in my entire life about a car shampoo with PFAS. Usually those PFAS you will find in protective products like ceramic coatings, waxes or sealants, not in car shampoos. To be fair, I think Pan just wants to stress out that point because it's very important to him, and rightfully so, so he claims it for all the products. But I personally have to say, claiming that a car shampoo is PFAS free, you can do that, but you don't have to. The next product claim we are going to evaluate is, this is supposedly a pH neutral car shampoo. And thank God that's something we can check rather easily. I have here a pH meter and we're going to look at what that says. As you can see, I have it in water right now, which is not perfectly pH neutral. pH neutral would be 7. But it's close enough because factually, depending on where you live, it could be that your water is indeed acidic or alkaline. So that's always important to check and also calibrate those meters. We are putting it in and let's see what happens. Oh, that is a rather big jump. Now, of course, this is not a lab grade pH meter, because those are very expensive and need to be recalibrated at the manufacturer yearly, which is also very expensive. This is a cheap one from Amazon and they are not always reliable, but 8.8 I would say is definitely far away from pH neutral. So let's just quickly also double check with those testing stripes. And let's see what happens with them, because they are usually rather reliable. Maybe my meter is off. Oh, that also does not look neutral. It's not acidic, but the blue one says we are in the alkaline region and the orange one there tells us that we are between 8 and 9, but definitely closer to 9. So those results are consistent and this is not pH neutral. Now maybe, and indeed, something's wrong with my pH meter and my testing stripes, or you think that this is something usual in the car care industry, that all those manufacturers lie and they write on those bottles that the products are pH neutral when in fact they're not. Beautiful thing as a tester is we have enough products which we can cross-check, and that's exactly what we will do now. And as you can see, all those test stripes tell us that those shampoos are indeed pH neutral. Those two are a little bit harder to see because those two shampoos from Adams and 3D are rather heavily dyed. But this one from Infinity Wax maybe is the only one which goes slightly higher, which means we would look at an 8. But overall, all those manufacturers who claim their shampoos are pH neutral are in fact telling the truth. But we of course also have to check whether my pH meter works properly or not. Let's go quickly through this test field. 3D pink car soap. 6.6, still adjusting. 6.5, 6.5, that's close enough for me, because that's the thing, we are not talking about tiny differences between 6.5 and 7.5, which I personally would think are okay, but we are talking about huge differences with the Clean by Pan shampoo. Adams car shampoo, 7.1, 7.2, that's completely fine, that's pH neutral in my books. Mr. Pink Chemical Guys, still climbing. We're now at 7, still adjusting. So 7, almost perfect, 7.1. That's definitely pH neutral. So what you will realize now is that the surfactants which are in there will start to react with whatever is in that water that I have here in my home, which means the pH value probably will rise, which is exactly what happens, and which means that the adjusting period will take a little bit longer from now on. Fireball, Korean product. 7.4, 7.3, still going down, 7.2. Let's check when it starts to slow down here. 7.1, pH neutral. Let's wash that out again. Labo Cosmetica Semper, Italian product. 7.4, pH neutral. Infinity Wax Pure Shampoo, highly concentrated. 6.8, that's also pH neutral. So the next one is the Liquid Elements Pearl Rain, very popular shampoo in Germany. Seven 2, 7.3, 7.4. Now it slows down. 7.4. It's definitely on the pH neutral side. So with the GSF, I don't have enough product in the bottle. We will have to pour it into the lid. Let's see what happens there. 7.4, it's going down. 7.3. 7.3, that is pH neutral. Same with the Maguire's. Let's pour a little bit. Ooh, that was too much. Thank God those are car shampoos, so I can clean the table afterwards. 7.4, 7.5. That's also pH neutral. And the last one, Sonax. Let's see what it says there. Oh, that's an unfortunate light reflection you have there. Let's see where this adjusts. 7.5. Still going down, but let's call it a 7.5 or 7.6. Those are all close enough to pH neutral. And let's just quickly and once again check the Clean by Pan. So maybe now my pH meter is properly adjusted. Let's call it like that. Let's see what happens there. No. You clearly see how quick this changes. And once again, it climbs beyond 8 and close to 9. So I think we have tested this product claim. So we clearly saw that based on my testing, this product, the car shampoo by Pan, is not pH neutral. I also asked some other people who are also testers who also tested this product, and they also concluded that based on their testing, it is alkaline and not pH neutral. Now, I know what you think right now. Ivan said that anything between 6 and 9 is considered to be neutral. What I will show you now is a screenshot from the EPA, so an American governmental organization, which clearly says that the definition of pH neutral is 7. Anything below that is acidic, anything above that is alkaline. I will show you another definition from another organization in the US, which states exactly the same thing. Every single chemist from every single car care company I ask said the same thing. 7 is neutral, anything below that is acidic, anything above that is alkaline. And once again, I want to stress that out and repeat that. We are not talking about tiny differences. We're not talking about anything between 6.5 and 7.5. We are talking that this shampoo has a pH value of 8 or 9, anything in between that. Now, what does the safety data sheet for that product say? That's an interesting question, because when that product was launched, the safety data sheet, I'm showing you a screenshot right now, stated 8. Right now and today, when you go to the safety data sheet, it says 7.5. So there was a change, which makes me unsure if there was a change in the formulation, which means I have an old product here, or if they just silently adapted the safety data sheet, which is also questionable. Now, to be fair, what Pan and what the brand Clean could mean when they say it's pH neutral is that it is pH neutral in solution, so in your wash bucket or in your foam cannon. However, we already saw that almost no other manufacturer does that. Only very few do that. And usually when those manufacturers say their products are pH neutral, what they refer to is the concentrated solution in the bottle. And what's also very interesting to see is when the product was launched in the video by Pan the Organizer himself, they also used such testing stripes, and they wanted to show that the product, the shampoo, indeed is pH neutral in the concentrated form in the bottle. And what they did is they showed these testing stripes only very short and from a shallow angle. When you stop the video and zoom in on the testing stripe, interestingly enough, you see that the testing stripe and the results they showed there are closer to 8 than they are to 7. So at the end of the day, we can spin it as much as we want. I personally think that based on my testing and based on all available facts, this is not a pH neutral shampoo. It's a slightly alkaline one. So that product claim is already false. Now, I know what you probably think right now. Andreas, why have you wasted 10 minutes of your valuable video time to show us and to explain to us that this product is not pH neutral? One, I just wanted to objectively test the product's claims. And secondly, and this is the more important part, there is a reason why car care manufacturers write pH neutral on those bottles or in the product description. Because they know that in our minds, in the mind of the consumer, pH neutral is considered as something good, as something positive. Because we as consumers think as soon as something is pH neutral, it is automatically safe. Safe for the environment, safe for us, as the users or safe for materials. Now I know that this is factually wrong because there are alkaline products and there are acidic products which can be as safe, if not even safer, as pH neutral ones. But that's not the point. You cannot have your cake and eat it too. If you want to have a pH neutral product, then it needs to be factually pH neutral. You cannot give us an alkaline product and still write pH neutral on the bottle or in the product description, hoping that you can capitalize on our expectations on pH neutral products. And that's the reason why I wanted to show to you the actual pH value of that product. One argument against this thing could be other manufacturers also do that. Maybe. But there are also manufacturers which do it better in my personal opinion, and what you see now is the global website of CarPro. Because CarPro Reset, a very popular car shampoo, and in contrast to what many people think, is also not pH neutral, but CarPro is very upfront and honest with that, because I quote, Reset utilizes intelligent pH surfactants which feature the strength of an alkaline cleaner whilst remaining pH neutral in solution. So CarPro tells us that this is an alkaline shampoo, but it gets pH neutral once diluted properly. And that, in my opinion, is a good example of how it could and should be done. So as you can see, we are ready to start testing the Clean by Pan the Organizer shampoo as it was intended to. I am at a public wash place, which we have to use in Switzerland because we are not allowed to wash our cars at home, unfortunately. So one thing I like very much about the shampoo is the scent, which is very, very pleasant. That's a good thing, that's a positive note. But there's also another thing I like very much about this shampoo, which is something I want to show you in a minute. I have here 10 liters of warm water. The water I can get here at the place is rather soft, so we shouldn't have any issues with hard water. But let me show you what I really like about this shampoo, which is that it is very, very liquid compared to many other car shampoos which are available on the US market, which leads to the phenomenon that it dissolves in the water rather quickly compared to thicker car shampoos. Which is honestly something I have never really understood, why some manufacturers give us such thick shampoos. Because, for example, the soaps by Chemical Guys are so thick, if you pour them into the wash bucket, you have strings of the shampoo in your bucket and you need to mix it very, very thoroughly in order for the shampoo to work the way it was intended to. So that's already two positive aspects about this shampoo. I know why some of the manufacturers give us thick shampoos, because they think that we think a thick shampoo is automatically a highly concentrated shampoo, which is not the case. So speaking of concentration, let's now work here, because that's another product claim, that this is a very or extremely highly concentrated shampoo. We will talk about that aspect in a minute. However, what it says on here is it's a 256:1 dilution. With the 10 liters of water I have in here, that's roughly 40 milliliters. So I will now include that into my measuring cup, pour it in there, and now we are ready to wash the car. Although technically we are not yet ready, but I'm starting anyhow. You see, the one issue I have is that I think we in Central Europe and also in the UK have a different way of washing our cars than what's usually done in America. What we usually do is we completely separate the pre-wash from the contact wash, which means we usually spray our car with a snow foam, a pre-wash or a pre-cleaner, let it sit, let it dwell, then we rinse that off, and then we go to the contact wash where we use what we have in the bucket and what we have in the bucket alone. We don't foam the soap that we use additionally to the whole car, and I think that's what you guys do in the US. Which is, you maybe do a pre-wash or you don't do that, then you spray the car soap onto the panel, and then you wash the car with what you have in the bucket and also in the foam cannon, which may or may not affect the lubricity that you feel on a panel. So I think that will be very important to consider. However, until now, I have to say, feels good. So up until now, I don't have anything negative to say. However, I want to test my own theory if the additional application of the soap via a foam cannon does actually increase lubricity. For that, because I'm here at the public wash place, I don't have my pressure washer, my foam cannon. I have a hand foamer by IK, in which I will just use the same solution that I have in the bucket. I know that's not highly enough or high enough concentrated according to the recommendations. However, let's just quickly test my theory and see whether the additional use of foam does actually increase the slickness or lubricity. Let's grab additional shampoo. And I have to say no. So in that respect, I'm very happy to report that the shampoo seems to work with an European wash method also. Let's take the opportunity and test whether the shampoo is at the very least pH neutral once it's diluted. And yes, once diluted, it is in fact pH neutral. Another positive aspect of the shampoo is because it's not factually that highly concentrated, and based on the fact that you use quite a lot in the wash bucket, the scent that it has in the bottle also transcends into the washing experience. Because if you have very highly concentrated shampoos with which you use 5 to 10 milliliters in a bucket, they don't always smell that good or that nice when you compare the scent, the strong scent in the bottle, to what you actually feel when washing the car. But Pan's shampoo, or the Clean by Pan the Organizer Shampoo, also smells nice when you use it. Honestly, so far so good. I have nothing negative to report. It works well, it is slick, it smells good. It seems to work as promised. However, the minimum requirement for a proper test is a reference test or a reference section, which would, for example, mean that I wash the same car, the same panels with just water. However, that would be silly. No one washes his car with just water. So the minimum requirement for a test is that I use another shampoo, which we know very well, which is Waschguru GSF, which also you as the American and UK viewers know very well. It's not as highly concentrated as Pan's, although they're very close, 1 to 200, which means I use 50 milliliters of the shampoo in these 10 liters of water that I have in this bucket, which I now put in there. I already see that the shampoo is a little bit thicker. It doesn't want to come out of the measuring cup as well. And another very, very important aspect when you do testing is you need to use the same wash mitts if you especially want to compare how slick a car shampoo is. So that's what I will do now. So as you can see, we'll do exactly the same with Waschguru GSF. And for a start, GSF smells also very, very nice. And I mean, scents are subjective. If you like Pan's scent more than you like GSF scent, fair play. But that's highly subjective. I have to say, I think they are both very slick and I don't feel that much of a difference, I have to say. Yes, I could come up with somehow objective and scientific methods of measuring slickness right now. For example, I could dunk the wash mitt into the bucket, place it there, place a weight on it, and then use something like a scale to drag it along and see if I have to use more or less force with one of the shampoos. However, that's also highly dependent on the state of the paint, how dirty it is, what kind of dirt you have on there, how much decontamination you have on it, is it polished or not, is it sealed or protected or not. So I personally think slickness tests are a bit silly and a bit useless. All we have is our personal feeling, and I have to say both of those shampoos feel equally as slick. But here's the sad reality, although I'm not sure this is a sad reality, it's just a reality. It has become very, very hard as a tester to find bad products because pretty much all the brands have started to create equally good products. Yes, there are differences, but in some product categories there are absolutely no differences, and car shampoos are one of those categories. We go back to objectively testing the product claims. Yes, Clean by Pan's shampoo is slick. Yes, it smells nice. It's a good washing experience. However, that also accounts for GSF, and that honestly accounts for 90 to 95% of car shampoos in the market. So yes, product claims are correct. However, it's nothing special, and it's nothing that makes Clean by Pan shampoo special. So let's check the next product claim. As you can see, I have a very light form of paint protection on that car. It looks good on that fender. It doesn't look that good up here. And that's a spray and rinse type of product. However, Clean by Pan shampoo claims that it is safe for any type of wax sealant or ceramic coating. So let's quickly check that. And I would say it looks equally as good as before there. And maybe a tiny little bit weaker than before here, which is okay because I told you this is a very weak form of protection, and we have to check the other side as well. Almost the same picture here. Very good hydrophobics on the fender, not so good ones in the middle. We wash over it with GSF. And I would say those are exactly the same results, almost identical here and not as good as before here. So in all fairness, we have to say that I think the claims for Clean by Pan shampoo are okay in regards to it being safe for protective products. In regards to the claim that it is a free rinsing shampoo, which means that it leaves no residue behind and that it is supposed to be easy to rinse off, I can tell you, yes, it does that, which is impressive and which is important because especially with shampoos, which you can use in the bucket as well as in foam cannons, some of them foam up so much that it is hard to rinse them off because they foam up all the time again, which is not happening with this one. In all fairness, this also accounts for GSF and many other car shampoos. So the product claim is correct, although once again, this is not something that makes this shampoo special. Another product claim is that you can use it if you dilute it accordingly as an insect remover when you have insects on the front of your car. Now right here, right now, it's winter in Switzerland, so I simply don't have any insects. I cannot test this claim. So let's say innocent until proven otherwise. So let's just assume that this claim is correct. Sorry, it's very loud here. This is a public wash place after all. I think at this point of the video, it's time that we talk about prices. This car shampoo here with 473 or 476 milliliters, I'm not quite sure, costs over 20 euros here in Europe. I ordered it at the House of Rags in the Netherlands, which makes it from the get-go and compared to other alternatives on the market a rather expensive shampoo. However, if it would be very highly concentrated, that would be completely fine. And that in fact is another claim by Pan himself. He said this is a very highly, extremely highly concentrated car shampoo. And I'm sorry, Pan, but that's just factually not quite true. Yes, I know there are shampoos on the market which are even lower concentrated than 1 to 256. However, there are not that many. If we look at the whole market, then you will realize that during, I would say, the last 5 to 10 years, shampoos have moved to much higher concentrations, especially here in Europe. And I have 3 examples here. Dodo Juice Born to be Mild, 1 to 600 to 1 to 800. Labo Cosmetica Semper, 1 to 1000. So that's 10 milliliters per 10 liters of water. And Infinity Wax goes as far as claiming that that is a 1 to 2000 car shampoo. And to be completely honest, at this point, I personally think that some of those manufacturers which claim that their car shampoos are concentrated to a point of 1 to 2500 is the highest I have seen. That's just plain ridiculous. If I use 3 to 5 milliliters of shampoo in a bucket, then A, if you have hard water, the shampoo does not really glide that well. And also if the shampoo is scented, then you don't have anything of that scent because it's just too little of car shampoo in the bucket. However, and factually, because we try to stay objective at this point, this is not a highly concentrated shampoo. That's just factually not true. And that's another claim that we have to debunk at that point. But let's go back to the price discussion. In the video description, you will find a link to something that is called the DetailingSchool database, in which we try to collect information, useful stuff, and also testing results that we have. And in that database, it's a Google Doc. You will find one table in which I did a price comparison of car shampoos, which not only contains the price of the bottle, but also the price per use. And you will see and you will realize that this is one of the single most expensive car shampoos out there if you calculate the price per use, which is over €2. And there are car shampoos out there, even if we compare the small bottles, which only cost you 10 to 20 cents per use. To be absolutely clear, there are only 2 or 3 more expensive car shampoos out there. One is DIY Details Incredible Suds, and even Swiss Wax, a brand which usually charges a lot of money for their products, even that is cheaper cost per use wise than this is. So at the end of the day, and I'm sorry Pan, we just have to state that objectively, this is a very, very expensive product. I know for sure that some of you have been waiting for this part and almost demanding it. We have to talk about the question, is it bad that this is a YouTuber product? No, absolutely freaking not. I have absolutely nothing against a YouTuber making money with his videos and with the work he puts in those videos. And I also don't have anything against a YouTuber coming out with his own product line and making money out of it. Absolutely zero and nothing. In contrast, I personally trust a YouTuber who has been testing products for years and has tested hundreds, if not even thousands of products. I trust that person more to come up with a good product than I trust certain lifestyle brands. Because at the end of the day, the likelihood that we get a bad product from a car care and detailing related YouTuber is very, very low. I almost think it's zero, because those people know exactly what a good product has to do in a given category, and they know exactly how to give us such a product. So in no way, shape or form is it a bad thing that Pan came out with his own product line. I think the controversy was more about how it is and how it was presented and promoted. And I want to point out 2 things. One, Pan shares every single positive review about his brand and the product. He does not share the negative ones. And that creates incentives for other people and especially smaller channels to benefit from Pan's reach. He has 1 million subscribers, and if he shares a review from another smaller channel, that creates incentives to hand out positive reviews. That's one aspect I'm very critical about. And the second thing is that Pan put his own products in his best of videos at the end of the year. He put his own products in each of the categories he has a product in the first spot. And you can look at that 2 ways. It either was an incredibly brilliant and planned move by Pan, because there's an old saying, there's no such thing as bad publicity, and he knew exactly that a shitstorm would happen, and he thought, well, let's benefit from that. Or the second possibility is that it was a monumentally and colossally stupid move. Especially if you consider that Pan has an academic background, and I personally think he should have known exactly that this would be a bad idea. Next product claim, this is not only supposed to be a fantastic shampoo, but also a really, really good snow foam. And that probably is one of the most critical aspects and chapters of this video, because a very recent test by John from the Forensic Detailing channel showed that he was not able to get this thing here to foam up nicely. John used a MJJC snow foam cannon. I think it's the Pro V2 version, which we on this channel know creates very reliably very thick snow foam if you have a proper product. And he used an Ava P55 Go, which we on this channel know very, very well, because we were amongst the first ones to test and use the Ava pressure washers. And I can tell you, this little machine is more than powerful enough to create thick snow foam. I think Keith, another American YouTuber, already tested that machine and also found it's more than powerful enough. And it was very funny to me to read all the comments from Americans under John's video who were claiming that the pressure washer setup is just not right. And that was the reason why he couldn't get the product to foam up. And that's why I will now repeat that test. I would have loved to use the exact same snow foam cannon, the MJJC Pro V2. I have it, however, it broke. It did leak somewhere around here, so I cannot use the same one. What I will use is the Dodo Juice snow foam cannon, which works perfectly fine for me, creating very good snow foam with my pressure washer, which is a Karcher K7, which is an electric pressure washer, one of the most powerful that we have here in Europe. It creates up to 180 bars of pressure and has a water flow of up to 500 liters per hour. Now, of course, those are manufacturer's claims. I did not actually test whether my Karcher achieves those. And I'm also sure you are smart enough to calculate what those bar and liter per hour measures mean in GPM and in PSI. And this brings me to one of the biggest criticisms I personally have with this product, which are the dilution ratios which are given to us there. For the bucket, they are very precise. They tell us to use 2 ounces to 4 gallons of water or 256 to 1. That's very precise. Everyone can come up with the correct dilution for his or her bucket. For the snow foam cannon, they are not that precise. They say to use 1 ounce for good foam and 2 ounces for super thick foam. But they don't tell us how much water we have to use, because it makes a huge difference if I dilute 1 ounce or 30 milliliters with 500 milliliters of water or a liter of water. It's a huge difference. And I honestly think that's almost unacceptable and unforgivable, because an experienced detailer and product tester should know that those things matter. Now, to be fair, I think Pan already reacted to the criticism from John by the Forensic Detailing channel, because on the website, on the official website for Clean by Pan, they now state a recommended dilution ratio of 1 to 10 for the snow foam cannon. However, on the website of the House of Rags Europe, which is in the Netherlands, this new recommendation is not yet public, and this recommendation is not on this bottle. So I will use the product as it comes and with those recommendations, which is, I assume, that 1 ounce or 30 milliliters is enough for 1 liter of water, and that's what we will test now. If we see that the Dodo Juice snow foam cannon does not create thick foam, I personally think it will, but let's see. I also have the MTM foam cannon, which we all know creates reliably a super thick snow foam. Both of those foam cannons have a 1.25 orifice in them, and let's now see what happens. Very, very interesting results. Exactly the same results as John from the Forensic Detailing channel got. no matter if I use the Dodo Juice foam cannon or the MTM foam cannon, with a setup from which I know can produce extremely thick foam with a proper snow foam. What I will do now is what I think happened with most of the testers who reviewed and presented this product, the Clean by Pan shampoo, which is something that Pan indirectly already admitted, which is he does never completely fill up the foam cannon, but fills it half, because that's what's enough to foam a car, which is absolutely correct. However, it makes a huge difference if you dilute a product 30 milliliters to a liter of water or 30 milliliters to half a liter of water. And so that's what I will try next. Still not the foam that we were promised. Next try, 50 milliliters of product to 500 mils of water, which is 1 to 10, which is exactly the current dilution recommendation on the website by Clean by Pan. That's already much, much better. And I would say that's an acceptable foam picture. However, it is far off the shaving cream thick foam that we were promised. At this point, it gets ridiculous. However, I will try it anyhow. I will now use 100 milliliters of product to 500 mils of water, and we'll just check again. So once you get it to foam up, as a reminder, we now used 100 milliliters of product to 500 milliliters of water, which is far, far off the recommended dilution ratio. Now I have to say it's not a bad picture. We have an enclosed film of snow foam on the car, although on some areas it already breaks up. So it's far from being the best I have ever seen in that respect, in the respect that it clings to the paint. However, I would say with this picture, I would be happy. And as it looks now, I would say that's good. And it would be so easy to now just go ahead and say that my foam cannon and my pressure washer setup is wrong, it's weak, and that's the reason why I don't get proper foam. In that respect, let me show you something. Just so that we are on the same page, that was 25 milliliters to 500 milliliters of water with the Zonex Actifoam Energy. And you saw how well the snow foam was. That is a quarter of what I had to use with Clean by Pan shampoo, which is now almost empty because of all the tests I had to do together with you. This is a massive difference. And let me show you another thing. What you see now is exactly the same setup. So the same Dodo Juice foam lens with the same Karcher K7 pressure washer with a product called ODK Arctic. British brand, fantastic snow foam. And with that, I used 30 milliliters to 1 liter of water. And look at how thick the foam is that I got with the exact same setup. And here is what I personally think happened. Someone claimed that he tested his products before they came out very intensively, and maybe he did, but he did not test them properly, because there's a difference between testing and testing. If I would come out with my own car care brand and I would repeatedly say that my goal is to create a global presence, then I would make damn sure that I test everything. So I would make damn sure to know what type of pressure washer and snow foam setups other people in other countries are using in order to make sure that the dilution ratios I give you are correct. And I don't think that this is what happened here. And this can only lead us to two possible conclusions. We in Central Europe have weak-ass pressure washers, which are glorified garden hoses, to be honest. And you in the US have fantastic pressure washers. Maybe. Or we in Europe have snow foams, which are touched by God, and you in the US don't have them. I don't know what has happened here. What I do know is that Zonex on the label writes, to use in a snow foam lens, you dilute it 1:10 to 1:20. Adapt the dilution according to the foam picture you want. That's what Zonex writes on there. Pan does not write that on there. Pan just writes use 1 to 2 ounces to get super thick foam. Period. He does not say you have to use a certain pressure washer. And that's the point at which we have to talk again about the reaction video that Pan did on the test that John from the Forensic Detailing channel did. Because I can tell you what I took away from Pan's video. Unless you have a very expensive, very powerful pressure washer, an equally expensive snow foam cannon, and a DI water filter system, you won't get proper snow foam, which would be completely okay if you would write that on the bottle. But Pan doesn't. Pan says you get super thick foam no matter what. And that I personally think is not quite fair. And it leads me to the simple conclusion that I don't think that this is a very good snow foam. We already talked about the comparably high price of the Clean by Pan shampoo. In that respect, one of the claims and also one of the explanations by Pan for why it costs that much, he says that he uses a proprietary blend and a premium blend of cosmetic grade surfactants. Now the beautiful thing is we have the safety data sheet available, and we also have safety data sheets available for other comparable products. And if we have a look at those ingredients which are stated there, we find something called sulfonic acids, C14 to C16 alkanes, with the CAS number of 68439-57-6. Every single one of the following car shampoos has exactly the same ingredient in it. The good old Meguiar's Gold Class, Dodo Juices Born to be Mild, P&S Pearl, but also Adam's Mega Foam, a product here from Switzerland, a Polystone car shampoo, an Autosol car shampoo, a Car Technique car shampoo, the Nanolex Pure shampoo, and also the Armor All car wash. Another ingredient I find in there is amines C10 to C16 with the CAS number of 274-687-2. And products like the Gloria Top Foam and the Zonex Rich Foam also have that ingredient in them. So what does that tell us? I personally don't think that this blend is so special to justify its high price. And also in regards to the claim that this is a proprietary blend, I don't think that this is just a white label product which exists in other foams out there. However, if you take an existing formula and change one tiny ingredient, you already have a proprietary blend. You can go ahead and ask, for example, ChatGPT to give you a formulation for a car shampoo, and ChatGPT will give you one. And I can also go ahead and tomorrow call a chemical blender, a raw material supplier or consultants, and in the next couple of days I will also have a proprietary blend or a formula for those shampoos. So I think that the argument that this is a proprietary blend and that this is a premium blend of cosmetic grade surfactants, if you objectively look at it, does not hold up. The next two claims are very interesting. Pan says it's readily biodegradable and it is super safe to use. Again, if I have a look at the safety data sheet, I find some interesting things, especially if you know how these safety symbols occur in these safety data sheets. They occur if there is an ingredient which makes it necessary for those symbols to exist in the safety data sheet. And the one ingredient which is in there in this safety data sheet is tetrasodium, CAS number 64-02-8. That's the one that causes these two symbols. However, the other two ingredients, which we already talked about, CAS 68439-57-6 and also CAS number 274-687-2, especially the last one. In all the other safety data sheets I found from other products which have the same ingredients in their safety data sheets, these ingredients come with the corresponding hints, especially the last one, the CAS 274-687-2. There are other car shampoos which have that ingredient in there, which would equate to it being harmful for aquatic life. And if you know that, and if you also see the seriousness of those symbols, and we can read out what that means, causes mild skin irritation, causes serious eye damage, may be harmful if inhaled, I don't think this is a particularly safe car shampoo. Now, I know those safety data sheets are not always treated the same, and not all safety data sheets are created equal, and I'm completely aware of, and I'm also sure that there are other car shampoos out there which don't have those symbols in the safety data sheet, but they in fact should and need to have those symbols in it. So Pan, or the chemical manufacturer of those products, is at least honest. However, the claim that this is readily biodegradable and also very safe to use, I put a question mark to that. So let's talk now about the final conclusion, my conclusion about this product. Let's just quickly go over all the product claims and what we have found out on them in this video. Premium blend of cosmetic grade surfactants. I think comparing the safety data sheets of this product with others, we have seen that the ingredients which are in there are commonly used in other products. So let's say question mark there. Readily biodegradable and super safe to use. I personally think, based on what the safety data sheet says, we will put a question mark there. Excellent lubrication and cleaning power. Lubrication, it's okay. I have used shampoos which glide better. I have used shampoos which glide worse. I think that's an okay claim. Cleaning power is, I personally think, completely overrated in car shampoos. What cleans your car is the mechanical action of the wash mitt. A car shampoo is mainly there to provide lubrication. In that respect, I would say yes, let's give it a check. This product claim is okay. It is pH neutral. No, absolutely not. And that's not only based on my testing, that's also based on other people's testing. And if we are completely honest, that's also based on the pictures we saw in Pan's own video on this product. It's not pH neutral. That's a big fat red cross there. It should contain wetting agents, which allows the surface to stay wet for longer, which also means you can use it in the sun because it doesn't dry out. Yes, I think I have seen that. I can check that. Now, to be fair, I don't think that the sun is your worst enemy in detailing. You are perfectly fine washing your car in the sun as long as you're doing it in the shade, because what is your enemy for all those chemicals is heat, hot panels. And that's why I personally think stating that I can use a product like a shampoo in the sun, it may be technically correct, but I don't think it's fair for the consumer. What you should say is never use the product on hot panels, because that's what prevents people from doing mistakes. Rinses away easily and leaves no residue behind. Yes, it absolutely does that. Can be used as a clay lubricant and also as a bug pre-treat. I did not test those two things, but based on how well lubricated it is, I absolutely think you can use it as a clay lube. However, to be fair, we have to say that with some traditional clay bars, they start to disintegrate if you use them with car shampoos, but that accounts for many, many other car shampoos as well. So check there. Is safe on waxes, sealants and coatings. I think that's a fair statement. Check there. It does not contain any PFAS or forever chemicals. Check there. However, I already told you it's a bit ridiculous in regards to car shampoos. It is super concentrated. No, a red cross there. We saw that factually this is not compared to other products on the market and compared to the majority of car shampoos, especially in Europe. And Pan is stating that this is a global brand. It is not that highly concentrated. So no, it isn't. And then the last point I want to talk about is the price, because I quote what Pan said, in the top tier space, it is priced competitively. And I could have asked double or triple the price.
Say what?
And it would have still outperformed everything out there. Absolutely freaking not.
No, God, please, no, no!
And I'm very, very sorry. I know I left the objective route right now, but I have no idea how you can come up with that statement. If you compare this shampoo with other top tier products, it does okay. It is, I would even go as far as saying this is a good car shampoo, but it does, in regards to purely the performance characteristics, lubrication, cleaning power, foaming ability, it does nothing better than any other high quality premium car shampoo out there. And I'm sorry, if you as a brand owner and as a YouTuber go ahead and say, this is industry disruptive, this is the best of the best, this is the best in the world, I'm quoting here, and this is the best in the market, period. If you want that statement to hold true, then it needs to be, in regards to the performance characteristics, at the very, very least, class leading in comparison to every single other product out there, which in my personal opinion, it is not. There are shampoos and foams out there which foam better. There are shampoos out there which glide better. So that's just factually already a wrong statement.
9.
Then it is supposed to create at least a good, if not a super thick snow foam. We saw that this is not reliably the case. It heavily depends on what type of pressure washer you have. And I personally think this is a testing error. If you only test your products with very powerful pressure washers, let's be honest, every car soap out there will foam up really, really good if you use a very, very high quality, a very strong pressure washer. So I think that's just a testing mistake, and therefore in regards to the foaming ability, I will put a red cross there. And based on all that, I have to come to the conclusion that this is simply not the best car shampoo in the market, period. I think it's a decent car shampoo. I enjoyed using it, but if you put out such wild claims, the best in the market, period, you're gonna be measured against that. And in that respect, objectively, it's not. I told you in the beginning of this video that I will try to make it as objective as humanly possible, which means I left out all these subjective parts, because if I would have done a subjective video, I would have told you that I actually think this is a decent, if not even a good car shampoo. I enjoy using it. It's an enjoyable product. It smells nice and I personally like the smell. And I would also have told you that the fact that this seems to be not pH neutral doesn't really bother me that much, because if I personally would come out with my own car care brand, I would not go ahead and give you a pH neutral car shampoo, because I personally think it's not needed. I would definitely go for an alkaline pre-wash or snow foam, and I would definitely go for a acidic, maybe a slightly acidic car shampoo, but that's just me. And that's the thing. You cannot have it both ways. You cannot have your cake and eat it too. If you want me to make an objective video, that's what you get. If you want me to make a subjective video, I can also do that, but you cannot have it both ways. And that's exactly what you got with this video. A purely, or let's say a mostly objective view on the Clean by Pan the Organizer car shampoo. And that's everything I have to say about the Clean by Pan the Organizer shampoo. If you liked the video, please leave us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.